Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to the George Snow High School presentation. We welcome the class of 2026, especially all the eager seniors who are wishing to continue their collegiate education, to pay real close attention to this video this morning. There's a lot to cover. We hope to get through all of it in a fashion that you're going to benefit from when it comes to completing your George Snow application in a timely and sufficient manner. I wanted to let you know that this is an opportunity for you to advance your dreams and potential, whether that is an opportunity for you to go to school and continue on that education, continue on that pathway, or start a brand new pathway entirely. This is a great opportunity for you to get involved, a great opportunity for you to challenge yourself, as well as achieve those goals that you wish to accomplish. So, a little bit about us. My name is Austin Havis, and I'm the manager of Scholar Services here at the George Snow Scholarship Fund. And I'm joined by my colleagues, Leslie Cornwell, who's the Vice President of Scholar Services, Garvey Antoine, our Scholar Services Coordinator, and Jonaldina Bazal, who is the Scholar Services Coordinator here at the George Snow Scholarship Fund. We are here to help you throughout this entire application process. And if should you be selected as a Snow Scholar, we will be with you during this entire educational journey of yours. So, a little bit about us before we begin is we are more than just a scholarship fund. We believe in addressing the concerns and the needs of our students. And one of the biggest things that we'd like to start off with in a presentation is talking about the cost of college. As scholarship providers, it is very important that we preface these conversations about scholarship access, educational and career choices, and everything of the sort to make sure that you are best feeling supported. So, before we hop into talking about scholarships, before we hop into talking about what is most important, let's talk about something that we don't really think about, which is the cost of college. Sure, we receive a financial aid award summary, or we receive a idea from Google of what we want to do or where do we want to go when it comes to college, but sometimes we don't think about the other costs of college. Sometimes, for some of us who want to go upstate in Florida or out of state, a question comes up that sometimes we don't address. How easy is it to get to and from my college from my home address? A better question is, can my family and I afford the cost of traveling to and from my home address to my college? You see, whether we're going upstate or out of state, there will always be a time at the end of the semester where our school comes to us and tells us, hey, it's time to go home. So we need to be prepared for these moments. Can we afford the cost of a plane ticket or afford the cost of a train ticket back home? Are we stuck in a position where we have to reach out to friends, family, or loved ones and see how we can afford this expense? Another question is understanding the tuition and overall cost of attendance. There is a big difference between being an in-state student and an out-of-state student. An in-state student means that you are a current resident of the state and you qualify for subsidized education. A best way to think about this is we are Florida residents. So if we go to Florida Atlantic University, University of Central Florida, Florida International University, or Florida State University, we would be classified as an in-state student at those public institutions. However, say we wanted to go to the University of Alabama, we would be considered an out-of-state student, which means that our costs would be significantly higher because we are no longer a resident of the state that we are choosing to go to school. So a good question to figure out whether you're planning on going out of state, if you're saying, hey, I'm ready to get away from home, is that would you be classified as an in-state student if you attended that institution? Another question on the horizon that you want to consider is what are the housing options and meal plan costs? Everyone likes to go to a big name school, but even some of the smaller schools are getting a lot of attention. And you may be in a position where there is limited housing available to you. Housing and meal plans are a big deal when it comes to college choice because it could be a big unplanned expense or or present a scenario in which you have to consider taking out a lease at a very young age. And these all have ramifications that, if you're not planned for, can have a significant financial burden on your future progression. Lastly, what is the campus culture like? Representation matters. We want to be challenged. We want to be where we could thrive academically, but campus culture and representation matters. We have to find the place that feels like home, but also challenges us to excel in our education. Did you know that Florida has four accredited historically Black colleges and universities? That includes Florida A&M, Florida Memorial, Bethune-Cookman, and Edwards Waters College, and has over 30 Hispanic serving institutions. Two of them are in the top 10 rated in the country, and those two are FIU and UCF. This slide is pretty self-explanatory, but it's very much showcasing just the differences between the options that we pick. The first column is going to show you all those expenses that we may not have considered when we're researching a school online. This is what your cost of attendance would look like at a university. It's going to cover the tuition and fees. It's going to show you the living expenses, the books and supplies, the transportation, and the personal expenses. The second column on this is going to show you the average of all public Florida universities for in-state students living on campus for the 2025-2026 school year. And we could see that's still a big number, which is why it's super, super important for us to consider any and all scholarships and grants that we can apply for, including the George Snow Scholarship. The third column is going to show you those options should you decide to go out of state. We chose an average of 14 public universities in the South to Southeastern US for out-of-state students living on campus. This is public schools within the Southeastern Conference for my football fans out there. And you could see just how much that tuition jumps from the in-state Florida rate to the out-of-state rate. And lastly, we get an average of attending the University of Miami and living on campus. It's important to know that this slide is a year only. Sometimes we get confused. We see this and say, oh, it's only costs us 26,000 to go to FIU or FAU for 4 years. Not true. This is only 1 year. So it's very important to highlight this next point, that you want to make sure that you get ready early and apply for the federal application for free student aid, which is the FAFSA for short. You and your parents should definitely create an FSA ID as soon as today. The application is already open and you cannot complete it without completing an FSA ID for you and your parents. You will need the 2024 tax returns, personal financial information for you and your family, and any other personal information they will ask you for. It's important to know that sometimes your FAFSA may be chosen for verification. That's even more of a reason why you should not not delay on completing this. Most likely, you will need to submit additional documents in order to be cleared of that status. And students are selected at random. So you really want to check with financial aid and FAFSA in order to resolve those issues. As a note, we are not tied to FAFSA, but this is an additional tip to help you get ready for college. And lastly, a little bit about us. We were founded in 1982 in honor of the late George Snow, a philanthropist and educator here in the Palm Beach County community who wanted to help students who wanted to help themselves. It is our belief that when you receive the scholarship, you join our Snow family. Our organization goes beyond the traditional hand a scholarship check out to you. We provide a litany of scholar support services beyond that scholarship for your entire undergraduate education. Last year, we awarded over $5.5 million in scholarships, and the average total award was over $14,000. I'm now going to pass it over to my colleague Dina, who's going to go over eligibility.
You've heard already a little bit about our scholarship, and now I'm going to talk about eligibility. If you're listening to this, you're probably a high school senior, so you must be a high school senior and attending a high school either in Broward or Palm Beach County. You also must have financial need, meaning if you feel in your heart of heart that you need money to go to college, you should be applying for this scholarship. We're not tied to FAFSA, and we accept all legal citizenship status. We do not accept students who are undocumented. And the best is we do not have a GPA or test score requirements, reducing the barrier to this financial support. And we've talked a little bit about that we are more than a scholarship, a check, because we provide you support that you would receive from someone like a family. Because we want to make sure that once you have access to our scholarship, that you receive the support you need to thrive in college. For example, we provide you have access to an emergency fund, whether you can access this whether you have your laptop breakdown, you have a car emergency, or you have an emergency and you need to fly back home if you are going out of state. And that's when you would be able to access this emergency fund. You also have access to our Stone Success and Career Development Program. We have people on our team whose sole job is to help you while you're in college. They can help you with your resume, cover letter, to get part-time or full-time internship to make sure that you have the experience that you need to go into the workforce after college or continue pursuing your education. You also get a choice of getting a laptop computer or a stipend check. You can, this is the only time we'll ever write a check to you, to your name, where you can use it to either buy college dorm supplies or whatever you need to start your college journey. And we have a lot of other support that we provide to you once you join our family. And if you're not convinced yet, there's a few other reasons why you should apply. Whether it's the duration, major, or school choice, we support you throughout your entire educational journey, whether that's a year or 4 or a little bit more. We provide you with the support that you need to thrive in college. You also have the choice to choose your own majors. We accept all majors in areas of studies. You also get to choose your school. You can stay in state, out of state, or go to a vocational school or program. As long as it is accredited, we accept it. And now you might be wondering, how do I apply and increase my chances of getting the scholarship? Our applications are currently live, so you can scan the QR code on your screen to start this application right now. The application closes on February 1st, meaning you have a bit of time to complete this application. So you want to take your time to put your best foot forward. You do not want to be starting this application on February 1st because again, there's a lot of information that we'll be asking for on this application. So you want to take your time and put your best foot forward. And now that you're with us, we'll be giving you a few insight on how to complete this application so that you can have the best chance. So first, some of you might be already starting the application. You want to sign up with an email while you're setting up your profile with a personal email, an email that you check regularly. But you do not want to be starting putting your school email because we won't be able to get to you. So you want to be starting this application with a personal email, whether that's your first name, last name at gmail.com. And a second tip that I have is to read and complete all the sections of the application. And the application is accessible on all devices. So right now you might be starting on your phone, you can continue on a laptop and submit the application on a tablet. And always you have time, you can save and complete it later.
Thank you, Dina. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the sections of the application. So as Dina said, there's 3 sections to the application. The first section has a lot of information on what you've been doing in school, what you're going to be doing beyond school, and I'm going to walk you through this part. So the first section, you're going to be talking about colleges and majors. You will see on the application that there is a slot for you to put in 3 colleges. And when I say college, it doesn't mean that that has to be a 4-year college or university. This can be a vocational program. You can be going for an associate's degree. We're just using college to mean school and program. So you can list up to 3, but only the first line is required. You must have something in that first field to show that you are planning on continuing in your post-secondary education beyond high school. You must be entering a program no later than spring of 2027. If you are planning on taking a gap year, then this scholarship program would not be for you because you must be enrolled by next spring. So for those who are applying to a whole bunch of schools, you ask, well, how would I know what schools to put in here? I'm applying to more than 3. Choose your 3 top schools, your 3 favorite. Again, if you're only applying to 1 school, list that. We're not going to hold you to what you put in your application. So you could list 3 schools and end up going to a completely different school. And that's absolutely fine. It's not the actual school that matters here. It's that you are planning on continuing your education. And that's why you need a scholarship. And to further that point, you'll see an application status, and that has a drop-down menu. So you can put that you've applied, that you're on the wait list, that you have been accepted. And then there's 2 statuses that I would not use, not applied yet or denied. We really strenuously tell students not to fill out this application if they have not applied to a program for next year. The way that our process works, we have a lot of community members who are reading and scoring your application. Staff is not responsible for scoring any applications. And you will have every application read and scored 5 times. The lowest score will be dropped, and then your average remaining of the 4 scores is considered your application score. And that will determine if you move forward in the process, and the next step is an interview. And I say this to you because you have definitely, as Dina said, you want to put your best foot forward, and that's true. You want to take your time with this application. You want the people who are reading and scoring your application to know this application was important to you. You weren't lazy. You didn't just make mistakes because you were rushing and trying to get through it. So that's what we're meaning when we say don't do this application if you haven't applied to a program yet, because the readers who will be scoring your application don't know when you did the application. They're going to get it after it closes, and they're going to be seeing an application of somebody who has not even applied to a program yet. Well, you are competing with people, though, who will have applied to a program. So please make sure that you are not filling out this application until you have applied to a program, so that you can show that you have motivation. There's passion there for you to be doing something next year on your educational path. And as far as the anticipated major, you can list more than 1. I would not list 4 or 5 different topics. That's going to show that you're kind of all over the place, which is very normal for a 17, 18-year-old. But again, you're trying to show them that you're focused in your motivation. So I would not personally list more than a couple. If you're unsure what you're going to be studying, that's absolutely fine for you to put undecided or unsure. That's also very normal for a high school senior. Now, the next part of the application is about your extracurriculars. So you're going to see 3 sections. You're going to see school activities, community service, awards, and honors. In each of these 3 sections, you can list up to 10 in each section. Now, don't want anybody freaking out. It's not mandatory. You don't have to have 10. You don't have to have any. These applications are being looked at holistically. So it is the totality of what your experience has been over the last 4 years. It's not just what you put in these fields. But I would tell you that this is where you want to brag about yourself. This is where you need to talk about yourself, because anyone who's reading your application, they don't know you. They don't know anything about you. They only know what you tell them in this application. So don't make assumptions. If there are things that you have achieved, don't assume they're going to know that. This is what you need to tell them. So in the school activities, this is not just things that you have done literally on your school grounds. I tell students to think outside the box. Anything that you have been involved in the last 4 years, then you might want to include in this section. And you would put the name of the activity, you would put the years that you've done it. So did you do it freshman through sophomore or freshman through senior? Then it has position. Are you a member or did you have a leadership role? Don't assume that they know you have a leadership role. You would want to spell that out. And then it's a brief description. Now, when I say brief, I mean brief description. You aren't writing an essay here. But here's an example of what you should not do. Let's say I'm in student government and I did it junior and senior year, and my position is member. And then for the brief description, I say, I am a member of student government. That is a lost opportunity. They already knew that you were a member of student government because remember, you just filled that out. So here you have an opportunity to talk about maybe you did something in student government that was particularly meaningful to you. Maybe you were in charge of a program. If you have a leadership role, what is something that you did, in that role? It's an opportunity for you to give them just a little bit more information about yourself. So don't waste that opportunity. The next section would be community service. Everybody has to have community service to graduate, so you should have no problem putting in that information. And then the last section is awards and honors. This is not only academic. This is anything in the last 4 years. Again, think outside the box. Have you been nominated for something? Have you achieved a certification of some type? It doesn't matter. Did you get babysitter of the month in your neighborhood? It could be anything. Then you would want to include that in this section. Let's talk about essays. Nobody wants to hear this section. I get it. Unless you're a writer, this is not going to be your favorite part. However, if somebody said to you, you could get a lot of money and help you achieve your dreams, but you're going to have to write some essays, I think you can get through this. They are not looking for you to be the world's best writer. They are looking for you to take your time with these essays. There's absolutely no excuse for you to submit essays that are full of misspelled words, or you write like you text, and so everything is, lowercase letter. There's no correct grammar or punctuation. There are so many resources out there where that you could turn in something that doesn't have these errors. Everybody's aware of AI. It is a resource, just like a lot of other resources. If you're using it to help you get started, that's not an issue. If you're using it to do your complete essay, that's a problem. The essays are very obvious when you have not done anything yourself in these essays. It's very robotic. The selection committee is well aware of that, and they want these essays to be your own work. They're trying to find out this information from you. So the first essay is an educational and career goal essay. What do you think that you are going to study? Why? I would definitely show passion in this essay. Again, they are trying to determine if you are a good investment. So if you're wishy-washy about even wanting to do anything, that's not going to help you. So you want to show that you're passionate and that you're motivated for this particular field and why. And, even if you are unsure or undecided, like we talked about a minute ago, that's very honest and authentic. There's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't just say, though, I have no idea what I want to do. I would flush that out a little bit. I'm not 100% what I want to study. I'm considering this or this. It just gives a little bit more context and that you've given it more thought. The second essay prompt is really an open-ended prompt. It's a chance for you to get the selection committee to know you better. So something personal about yourself, whether that was a challenge or an accomplishment or, you know, something that you want to write about personal to yourself, I would caution you not to copy the first essay prompt into your second essay. You're going to get points taken off because you are not following instructions. That's not what they're asking in the second essay prompt. But you can certainly reuse an essay. Did you write an essay or two that covers these same prompts, you know, for maybe a college application or a paper at school? As long as somebody read that and said, yes, this is a good essay, there's nothing wrong with you reusing that. You know, we also have a scholar statement. This is not, the first two essays have a word limit, so it's a required 400 minimum word count, which is not a lot. The scholar statement does not have a word count, and it's simply, how do you envision making your community a better place? And that's got to be something from your heart that you think about and write about. And again, there is no word limit. I would think outside the box for these essays, you know, really give it some thought about what you want to write about so that the selection committee really gets a sense of who you are. And I want to talk about the eligibility questions that you're going to see. These are not eligibility in terms of you being eligible for the scholarship. These are eligibility for certain scholarships that we have. So you are doing one application here, one application that makes you eligible for hundreds of local scholarships. And the way that our scholarship fund works, we have donors that come in and want to give money to help students in their path with no restrictions. And then we have donors that come in that want to help students on their path, but they have restrictions on that. So you are going to see question after question in this section. 97% of them or 98% of them are literally a yes, no. The screenshot that you see here concerns majors because we have certain donors that want students in these particular majors, whether it's aviation or pharmacy or culinary arts or healthcare, etc. But then you're going to see a bunch of really random questions. Did you go to this certain middle school? Do your parents work at a certain place? Are you first generation? Do you qualify for free and reduced lunch? You can say no to every single question in this section, and that does not hurt you at all. You are still eligible to receive up to 3 scholarships with us with this one application. If something does apply to you, though, you would want to say yes, because then that puts you in consideration for that restricted scholarship. So if there's any possibility that it could apply to you, then you should put yes in this field. And some examples of our restricted scholarships. And the reason that I want to talk about these two is that I do believe there's a misconception about our scholarship, that this is only for students who are in the top 10, or this is only for students who have a 4.0. That's absolutely not true. As Dina told you, there is no minimum GPA required for this scholarship. And we don't even ask you about test scores. So I wanted to point out that 2 restricted scholarships that we have, one of them, our DeLuca scholarship, you can see the bold. The ideal applicant is a student with a GPA between 2.5 and 4.0. 100 students in Palm Beach County are getting this scholarship. 100 students in Broward County are getting this scholarship. You are not competing with each other. You will be in your own counties for these scholarships. These are amazing scholarships. It's a Florida prepaid plan. It's an extra monetary scholarship. It's extra emergency fund money. But again, you see that GPA range. So I can't award 100 students a DeLuca scholarship with a 4.0. The donor specifically wants this range. So for anybody saying, well, I have a lower GPA, so I know I have no chance of getting the scholarship, I want to tell you that's not true. And I also want to mention our another restricted scholarship that we have, our Carl Angus DeSantis scholarship. So this scholarship, the donor focuses on students who are pursuing workforce pathways. Now that can mean a lot of different things. You could be going in a 4-year program for nursing, computer science or cybersecurity, hospitality and tourism, education. Or you could be doing any vocational path, So it's not just the ones that are listed here. Cosmetology, sonography, medical assistant, HVAC, automotive, any vocational pathway. So if you've been thinking you couldn't possibly get this scholarship because this is not the path for you, I want to let you know that you definitely should be applying. Now I'm going to turn this over to Garvey.
Thank you, Leslie. I'd like to touch on reference letters. All reference letters are optional. If you're getting a reference letter from someone, you want to give them the opportunity to come for you. Don't wait until last second where they have to rush products for you, or they can't do it because they have such a surplus coming in and they want to take their time and they won't rush something and give it to you. They have to be written by someone who is outside of friends, family, or partners. You can upload the reference letter to yourself on your application, or if your recommender doesn't want to give you the reference letter, we can upload it for you, or they can send it to our email at gss-letters@scholarship.org. Financial questions. This is the last part of the application and probably the most intense. All financial questions are confidential, not information that will be shared with the reviewers. Make sure when you're doing these, you're going to need your parents with you and their information. Also, something not to wait last second for. Questions on here are going to be something that you want to take your time with. We don't upload these. We don't need your FAFSA information, but you're trying to ask your parents for information a day before the application closes, 2 days before the application closes, and you can't get that information or they have to go get it and it's taking time, shooting yourself in the foot. Take your time with this and go about it in a manner where you know you can get the financial questions in. And if you feel you can't answer something, you don't know the answer to something, you can put 0 in the space. You don't need to upload any of the tax returns. It's just information where you guys have to put in. And if you need any type of help with this, you can contact myself, Austin, Leslie, or Dina. Our timeline. You need to apply by February 1st, 2026, 11:59. Do not wait until the day of. Don't wait 10 minutes before. You don't know whether it's a Wi-Fi issue, an issue with your phone, laptop, computer, or the website just has so many applicants on the site that it's loading slowly. You don't want to end up in a position where you've maybe filled out this amazing application, but no one will ever get to see it because you took too long to submit it. Take your time throughout the application. It's a 3-month window. That doesn't mean you have to rush it in and get it in the day of or the day that you start, but you don't want to sit and wait and let time pass you by and rush, because at the end of the day, we can't do anything to help reopen this portal or submit it another type of way. That is all on you at the end of the day. If you are asked for an interview, you'll get that notification March 31st, 2026. Make sure you have an email that is something you check regularly and it is not associated with your school. Those emails, we can't send emails to. They have a firewall and they will be bounced. Make sure it's something you check. You don't want to miss your interview notification. We will try to reach out again. And if we can't contact you, that slot's going to have to go to another applicant. The interview. It will take place between April 20th and April 21st. This is where you get to meet a lot of the reviewers and the people who sit here and have read your essays. When you come for an interview, make sure that you're presenting your best foot forward, because this is weighed just as heavily as your application. Take your time with it and make sure the people that you're interacting with, you get to see the best version of you. Some people are stronger when it comes to the application process. Some people are stronger when it comes to the interview process. Just make sure you're preparing yourself and you're putting your best foot forward. Award notification. If you're getting the award, this will hit you May 15th, 2026. Again, make sure it's an email that you're consistent with, an email that you use. If we try to contact you and we'll try to reach out again and we can't get a hold of you, that slot's going to have to go to someone else. Our orientation is June 11th. It is required. This is a fun day where you get to meet a lot of the other scholars and get to learn about the George Snow process a bit more in depth and find out a bit more about what the collegiate life is going to look for you and how we're going to do what we're going to do to help you with that process. The award ceremony for Palm Beach County is going to be June 13th. As far as Broward County, that day will be determined, and we'll let the applicants know. This is also required. Also, another fun day where you get to meet a lot of people, a lot of the donors who's helped make this dream come possible. You get to bring at least two guests with you. Two guests with you. And it's a day where you get to recognize yourself and have people around you who care to recognize you as well. These are our social media platforms for George Now. They're not just pages. They also offer a lot of tips, tricks, and give you a good insight into the college process, whether it's FAFSA applications, whether it's filling out scholarship information, or just how college life is going for some of our alumni. We also have our podcast here where they talk about information relating to things such as placement, how to fill out our application. I think it's very insightful and something that will help you, get ahead of the curve if you want to take a few minutes to listen to and, gain some knowledge that our experts and our teams are going to share with you all. You can start your application today. The QR code is up. And for everyone who wants to start their application, everyone who wants to help themselves, this is the first step. Taking your time with this application, making sure that you have everything in that you might need, talking to the people that you need to talk to beforehand and not waiting last second. Don't forget, the application closes February 1st at 11:59 p.m. Do not wait last second. If you want to help yourself, this is the best way to do so. Take your time with it. Don't wait the day up to submit. And if you have any questions or any comments that you'd like to have about the application process or about George Snow, you can feel free to reach out to any one of us, and we'd love to help you all. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day.